Hold on, I feel like you're cheating. You picked the questions and gave them to the moderator, and now I'm supposed to defend a position. Sir, this is not a square circle.
Well, here's the thing, right? If Orthodox wants to, in real time, create 10 or 11 questions, I guess.
I'm just fucking with you, dude. I don't care. Let's do the thing. Do the fucking thing, man.
Do the thing. Do the thing. So out of any of those questions, you can follow however you want. Orthodox.
Yeah,
Whenever we're ready. Whenever we're ready. They're pretty simplistic questions.
Oh shit. Okay. Should the U.S. military root out the cartels in Mexico and South America? Then where will I get my weed? What's more important, workers' wages or mass immigration?
Hold on, one at a time, bro. We can't take them all on at the same time.
Oh no, I was going to ask you guys which one y'all want to discuss first.
We're going to do the cartel question because I have an interesting answer for it. Bumpkin, you go first.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. It's the only way to solve the southern border problem.
Okay, so I ask you a question to counter your question. Do you believe that the CIA is completely inept and we have 5 cartels functioning on the southern border? Or is it possible that the CIA has operations on the southern border and there's no cartels?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I have no idea. I can only take information in at base value, you know?
I'm just saying, either the CIA is completely inept or we are actually in control of those cartels. I don't think there's a middle ground on this one.
Yep. Anyone is
I got you. I'll post the link. I'll moderate chat and post the link. I got you.
Yep. Anyone is welcome to join. All of that. Anyone is welcome to join.
Except for that one guy, you know, that dude.
If there's 0, can I see your face, please? You don't have to cam up for the stream, but I do need to make sure you're a real person.
Tiny as Squish, Sarah Pagey, welcome in. Good to see you.
We could all just put up an overlay as well. Where's Chris? Is he from my channel?
I believe he is. Okay, he's gonna switch to a good cam. So I believe he is from me, where I was streaming Jack Talcott stuff yesterday. He went over to Flows, I believe.
Yeah, I all right, that's fair. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, if it is a CIA, then obviously there's some internal stuff we have to do. But either way, the CIA kind of operates as a separate.
That's good. That's good.
Yep, that's good.
Do you want to stay on cam? All right, you can come up. You turn it off.
Yes, we want to see you, sir.
Oh, yeah, he said he'd be back.
Bitch, yeah, I'm beautiful, but don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Hate me because I'm hitting on your wife and your sister.
All right, well,
yeah, I have 2 devices here. One is good mic, bad camera. The other one's good camera, bad mic.
Gotcha.
And I don't have multiple USB ports, so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, completely open panel Bloodsports debate, so anyone can chime in at any time. Yeah, I mean, if the CIA is like that, then they're operating outside of the United States governmental apparatus, so therefore we should combat them as well. Combating the cartels would be combating them, would it not?
Hey, all I got to say is sooner or later, somebody's going to have to stand up against these people that are actually controlling everybody. Because if you think the leaders of these countries are actually the leaders of these countries, I'd like to tell you, they're merely the face of the organization.
Okay.
Nice. Did you hear the first question, or was that your answer?
I heard the one about cartel versus CIA, and that's my point of view of it because I'm in the trenches here, guys. I know what the fight's like.
What's up, Mike?
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
So
this is not my path.
Sasquatch.
for the two gentlemen that just
Favorite
joined,
guy.
the first question is: should the U.S.
Oh.
military root out the cartels in Mexico and South America?
Okay. I
The
would
U.S. military is completely controlled by the organization that is known as the United States government, which is not called that whenever you're behind the scenes. So that's my answer. Your turn.
I want to ask the panel a question.
Okay, Mike.
Yes.
Go ahead,
You know
Mike.
what? I'm so excited. And then Sasquatch has this beard. Like, I want to know how can he maintain this beard? I want to.
I feed it blondes, brunettes, and redheads, bro.
If you get Jess White in here, she'll pay to get me off panel. So there's your heads up.
Hello,
What?
Chris.
What's up, Gar?
It was so good.
So yeah, Orthodox guy. Yeah, I may be considered from your side, but I was more from Abe and Doom's side, which dropped me over to your side, and I suddenly saw Colosseum, Bloodsport, and I was in. I saw those words, I was in.
All right. Well, that's the first question. You gave your answer, Sasquatch. Were you done with yours?
I think that the cartels and the CIA are probably one and the same. Do I need to put my tinfoil hat back on?
Yes,
I
it
mean,
would be funny. It would be
I
funny.
mean, sure, but
Yes.
my statement still stands, though. Even if that's the case, right? Even if that is the case, that would
Sasquatch
make the
versus
CIA
Oreo.
a completely separate entity to the federal government at this time, because they'd be pretty much working completely separate, right? They're a completely separate, nowhere agency.
Well, okay. So if the CIA is behind the cartel, working with the cartel, what action
Oh,
should
yeah.
we take?
They've
to
always
remedy
been
that?
working in the cartel.
Oh, then they should be strung up. I mean,
So
I
guys, could I say something really quickly? And I think
You could try.
I think at Curse Zero, me and him, we had several confrontations. But here's the thing: the CIA.
Why are you digging up graves? Just go to your comment.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So the CIA, unfortunately, is dirty as fuck, and they work with Pablo Escobar. They've been working with this motherfucker.
All right, Mike.
And
Hold on. You are correct, but we pay them to be dirty as fuck for us. That's
Hold
why.
on.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kosh. Kosh, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing, guys. You want me to bring something real to the table?
No, but
Go put on your goggles. Go put on your goggles. Check out what the Amerigo is, and realize that they're trying to unite the entire northern continent under a single rule. This is what's really going down, people. Canada, America, and Mexico are going to become one country.
As long as that has the Constitution at its foundation, I'm good with it. Manifest destiny.
Oh yeah, America is going to be the defining body. That's why it's called the Amerigo.
This time, Europe.
Yeah,
it's going to become Canada, Mexico. That's literally what's going to go down within the next 5 to 10 years. And I have paperwork to back this up besides opinion.
All right, Ground Zero.
Post it in the back chat. Now we can look it up.
So one of the, to me, well, like Pablo Escobar is motherfucker. Like he's a very fucking smart motherfucker. He was he but the CIA was working for him. Hello. Yes. So the thing is that they were working with him because of the communism, and they needed his fundings and to defeat the communism. And so like that's the thing. And the one thing I have to say, you have this fuck, man. You built this. Even Osama bin Laden is at fault in terms of like creating these people, and then like for them to, they have to kill them, and pretty much is like when you train a pit bull, and like it's like, okay, time to go. And the CIA has been doing that very greatly. And the CIA basically use these people, and they gain from these people, and then they fucking kill them.
All these politicians are simply sponsors. Who's ever giving them the most money, they're going to make sure that they keep on wiping their ass to ensure that they continue to gain their money.
Hold on a minute. We have a new panelist. Welcome, Melanie Cosmic Fox.
Oh shit!
What's up, girl?
Look, I just need everyone.
Well, I'm glad
to
both of these are here at the
It's gonna
same
be
time,
okay.
so I don't think something weird.
Melanie is in the mix.
The first question is: should the U.S. military root out cartels in Mexico and South America?
I don't know. Should other countries send their military to America?
Hey,
I don't know, Melanie. Should other countries send their military? I don't know. Are they the biggest military in the world? Would we allow them to do that? Because I'm under the impression that might makes right.
We
can
would
send our
allow them to do
military-
it for training
Might
purposes.
makes right.
Yeah, so I'm under the impression that they can try.
Do you mean might makes right as in like what you can or cannot do? For like
No, there is no can or cannot. If you do it, you do it. You don't do it, you don't do it.
Let me
Might
ask the
makes
actual
right.
question first. Okay,
You didn't have to elaborate. We
You're not
already knew the
responding
answer.
to what I asked.
Can
So
I
what I was
ask
actually
the panel-
asking is,
Dead weight.
is that an is or an ought statement? Are you saying
Dead weight.
that
Can
like
I ask the panel?
might equals the state of being able to do something, or might equals the state of you should be able to do something?
Neither. You can do it, you do it. You
Then that's
don't do it,
vacuous
you
as
don't
fuck.
do it. It's that simple, sir.
And that's
Can I
vacuous as
ask?
fuck.
Can I ask the panel? I promise. Can I ask the panel based on our experiences, and in terms of like how fucked up America?
What is your blood alcohol level right now?
Mike,
Because you
Mike,
sound like you're on
all
slow speed.
due respect. This is a debate channel, and to change the topic to ask questions.
No, but wait,
you do
one
have to send
second.
in money. That is a standing rule. I gave
No,
you
but
one.
wait.
Mike, to change the topic, you got to send in money.
But I was about to
I
roast
just
the
saw
mic about
Bunkin
changing
point
the
at me and
topic.
laugh, and I really like
But
that. That was pretty cool.
wait.
You're welcome
Guys,
to roast whoever you want
I
to roast.
just want to say something really quickly.
The source was not confused when they created YouTube.
Huh? Okay. So, anyways,
One of us.
So, anyways, yeah,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
so Mike, like
What
honestly,
about-
dude, if you might want to bring down your blood alcohol content a bit because you sound like I have you at 0.5 speed.
What's up? Welcome to the panel, James. Again,
What's up,
the topic is
It's not even like that.
JLT, what's up, dude?
one second. The topic to first topic is: should the U.S. military root out the cartels in Mexico and South America? James, Melanie's finishing up his talking, and you go after him.
Okay.
And Phil, this is a blood sport, so anybody, if you disagree, feel free to jump in. If you want to change the topic, that is a $5 Cash App to Pumpkin.
And there you go.
So,
I guess.
Right. So
Finish
I
life
doubt
away, man.
anyone here would actually appreciate being invaded by another military. Even if America has the most powerful military, you'd probably be against it on principle. And so I think you should also be against your military doing that on principle.
Hypotheticals are hypotheticals. What happened on 9/11? Tim Osman became bin Laden and America attacks itself so that they can go in and invade to implement the petrodollar. This is
We're
just
not
basically
lawyers.
the
I
blanket
thought
the
Mike
bed
makes
bugs
right.
that
I
are
thought
inside
Mike,
of the mattress.
wait, I thought
America
Mike,
attacked itself so
Zero.
that it's what?
did you not say that might makes right? Like it seems like the Taliban had the might to make it work.
Okay, ma'am, you did not understand what I said.
The one that-
CIA agent
It seems
Tim
like you're agreeing
Osman
with me without
became
realizing with it.
Osama bin Laden. America attacked itself so that it can invade a country to push the petrol.
No, I think
all right, this is a blood sport, but there are certain
All right.
TOS
So-
violations that we will not be
okay.
dealing
Yeah.
with.
All right.
I was
All right.
looking for a redirect.
There are
Basically-
POS violations out there, Cursed, and while it is a blood sport, you can interrupt, you can speak
Yeah.
your opinion.
So
There are things that we cannot talk about due to YouTube.
all right. So
I know too much. I'll shut up and leave.
Right.
I'll respect. I'll shut up and leave. I just know too much.
So you don't have to leave, but there's just certain things you can't say.
Okay.
Oh, he left.
So listen, like if you ask me in terms of the
Hey, Amy.
whatever.
I want to hear what Christian Caillou has to say about the military doing extrajudicial killings.
Well, hold on. Mike was saying something.
Which one of us is Christian Caillou?
I mean, if you've seen Caillou,
I have.
okay, well, only one of us is has a cartoon PFP that looks like Caillou.
I
Give
gotcha.
us,
So it's ad hom attacks before we even start discussing anything.
Oh yeah, no, I gotta make sure my
Welcome to
opponents.
hell.
I need to make sure my opponents are mind fucked
Well,
before
this is
they make their arguments.
this is a blood sport, Sasquatch.
Sure. No, I'm good. I'm just this is between me and her. Well,
Have you ever seen
having
Kenny
us a
versus
heart to
Benny?
heart.
Because like Kenny, that's what he does to Spenny every time before they start their competition. He just mind fucks him.
Thank you, Woody.
well, tonight the next one. All right,
So I guess I
How much of our vacation money?
So
did
you know
lose,
what?
Mike?
guys. You know what? Yeah, I want the Knicks to win, and they have like 3 more games to win. All right.
So the
Okay.
Knicks won
So-
tonight.
Very nice.
So I guess I can get my opinion now. I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, get your opinion. And I like.
Yeah, I think that the thing is, if they want us to train them on how to deal with the cartel and pay us, let's do it. But otherwise, I think Mexico should handle the cartel on their own.
Yeah, and
Because
then
why can't they
mentally-
handle their own?
Why though?
Well,
But
mentally,
why?
wait a minute.
Why? Because why
Have
can't
you
they handle
been-
their own
have you
stuff?
been
I
raped?
mean,
What the
Because
fuck?
you
do
don't
we-
see the bigger picture. You don't see the
Melody.
bigger picture. We could turn Mexico into the next
Melody.
Puerto
Another
Rico,
state.
bro. We could turn Mexico into the next Puerto Rico, bro. You realize how much smaller their border, more
Wait,
down south
annexation is
compared-
not the same thing as the military invading another country to enforce policy.
If we're invading another country to force policy, we
We're
are
annexing.
basically also
No,
we
that's
didn't
not
annex.
annexation.
Did we annex Puerto Rico?
Yes.
No.
no,
we did not.
We made a puppet state, not a.
They're a puppet state.
No.
They are not annexed.
They're a territory, right? So they've been annexed.
Well, it's a
But
puppet
when you're
state.
wait when you're a territory,
They
for
get- hold on.
clarification,
Puerto
That's
Rico gets to send people to Congress just to sit around and be pretty.
You mean that the U.S. Congress doesn't actually recognize them? But okay.
well, from the
That's
moderator,
ignorant as fuck.
from the desk of the moderator, for clarification, when you are a territory of the United States, you do get to participate in the governance system, but your voice and opinion doesn't carry any weight. So you are de facto a puppet territory because you also have your own government and you function as your own state. They're just rules. They're just rules dictated to you as being a vassal state.
Because
But let's
if I'm not
continue.
mistaken,
Yeah.
they have no electoral college representatives, right?
No,
Correct.
sir. They're not allowed to pick
No.
the leadership.
Correct.
Because they're not part of the United States. They're
Well, they are a part of the
are.
United
Very
States.
clearly.
well, they're a territory, but they're not exactly a
Yeah, they're
actual
yeah,
state, though. Is what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
exactly.
So basically, they have their own laws, and the
No, they
government
don't.
has
All right,
laws.
all right.
That's not how that works either.
Hold on. Let's break this down properly. They are under the protection of the Constitution, the auspices of the United States military, and the shadow of the hegemony of the United States. They do not, however, have to abide by the Constitution unless they decide to do so because they're a province.
Yes.
And
But the-
also,
But there's
Oh.
clearly like a thing like if you want military protection, you also kind of have to abide by our constitution. That's been a long-standing
No,
component.
right now they get to.
No,
right now
wait,
they
when
get
it comes
they
to
get their
the,
cake and get to eat it too.
so
kinda.
So-
hypothetically, if they get attacked, United States.
So
Well,
why did Bush
I-
threaten? Why did Bush threaten to withdraw the military if they didn't do some stuff. I forget what it was, but like there was this
What?
whole thing with Bush telling Puerto Rico, we're going to take the military out if you don't. Something with,
Yeah,
with immigration, I think. But like,
Yeah,
anyways,
that's-
it
You're
was
talking about
unconstitutional lines.
with
That's
an island. No,
yeah.
wait.
Oh,
Melanie, we're talking about a Spunk Island, and basically they were using the island as an experiment, and basically that's the why the
That's not what I'm
they
referring to.
No, that's what it is. The island was basically used for experimental. That's why they were fighting for it. That's it. It was not like, oh
No, they wanted it because it was a stronghold against Cuba.
no, man, no.
No, we
That
had
was-
Yes, it
Puerto
was
Rico
because the
long
Russians
before
were in Cuba.
Cuba.
Their Cuban Missile Crisis. Are you dumb?
We had Puerto Rico
So
long before the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Melanie, like when it comes to the Cuban
Okay, yeah,
Missile
you don't know
Crisis.
history, dude. I know American history better than you do, apparently.
Okay, so all right. I don't mind you challenging me.
They totally wanted the Puerto Rico because they knew Russia was already working with Fidel
You're
Castro.
talking about two different stories. So like.
Yes, you're right. Just like how you entered in here talking about something completely unrelated to what I was talking to, which is what Bush did to try to get Puerto Rico to follow some sort of, again, I think it has something to do with immigration, but something that the U.S. state wanted.
And that's what I agree with you. But remember how like
By the way, Sasquatch, what you said
We
was
got
only
Puerto
partially
Rico
true.
in 1898.
What you
So
said
how
was
do you tell
partially
me
true,
that-
Sasquatch.
remember
So
the
Puerto
island?
Rico doesn't
Right,
have the same
98.
law enforcement as
thought we got it.
they do. So they don't have the FBI there. They don't have the State
Remember
Department.
the island of yes,
But the government does claim to follow the U.S. Constitution. In fact, it's part of their charter.
Listen to
Sure.
me. Listen.
I want you to go and look at the actual laws and whatnot that's been passed over the last 15 years and ask you whether or not they actually follow the Constitution or not.
Yes, they do. That's
Try to
literally-
acquire a firearm in Puerto Rico and see how far you get.
There are plenty
Probably
of
not very
states in
far.
America that follow the constitutions that are also difficult to acquire a firearm in. That doesn't change anything.
I would disagree with that premise just on its
Oh.
surface, because if they're following the
California?
Constitution, they are, and if they're limiting the Second Amendment, they are not following the Constitution.
No, wait.
Yeah.
Having regulations for gun ownership is still upholding the Constitution.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Yes,
no,
it
it's
is.
not.
No,
Definitely
it's
is.
not. Not according to
Are
the
you
Constitution.
a well-regulated
Could
militia?
somebody please quote the Second Amendment for me
Are-
amongst our very fellow friends here?
Are
The
individual-
moderator will do it.
All right.
Okay, well, I want
What
to
is the
before we do this, I
Second
want to pose one
Amendment?
question: are individual gun owners a well-regulated militia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, they are
You
not.
know what a militia is? It's made
No,
up of
this
minutes.
is the part where opinions
What are you talking about?
are the
That is
issue.
not. That is definitionally not a
You
militia.
disagree on a premise that we agree on. Now what?
So- Gun
All right,
owner
all right,
singular.
hold on,
Gun
hold
owner
on.
singular.
From the desk
Militia
to the moder-
plural.
Melanie, hold on. From the moderator's desk, the Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep in their arms shall not be infringed.
Right.
Why
so
is
the
it?
right
Why
of
is
the
it? Why
people-
is it? No, hold on. Why is it that they only ever focus on the first half of the Second Amendment, but never the second half?
Because
Why
that's the
is that,
justification
Melanie?
for
Right.
because that's the justification for the second
No,
part.
no,
So-
no,
Well, hold on.
no.
Well, Melanie, I also, from the desk of the moderator, I do have a question that it's now for the panel based off this, since we're talking about it. Me and you've had a conversation about communism and Karl Marx, and you said you agree with Karl Marx.
Not on
Um,
literally everything.
Well, of course not on everything, but what do you think his take on gun ownership was?
I don't actually know. I'm
Oh,
not a
see,
Marxist. I'm just to be clear, I'm post-communist, so it would be
Well-
false to call myself a Marxist.
Post-communist? What's a post-communist?
Yeah, no, that means
Past
everything's
communism.
failed and we're back in capitalism again, baby.
No, we're not. So
Hold on. Karl Marx's direct quote is: "Under no pretext shall arms and munitions be surrendered. Any attempt to disarm the workers must be frustrated by force if necessary."
Karl Marx was a revolutionary, yes or no?
Yeah. So we're the founding fathers of the
Are
United
you
States.
willing to let the left have a revolution?
Everyone
You
is entitled
try.
to a revolution as long as they
Oh.
accept the consequences of being
So
put
yeah,
down like the dogs they are. But now I'm not being a
we're in
moderator.
peacetime. We're the
please
Are you
don't
okay with
moderator.
Are you okay with the South revolting and then reenacting slavery? And
Orthodox,
hypothetically
please.
South?
You know,
yeah, because they won't win. But
I always knew the
Neither will
South
the
was
left.
as
No,
good,
at
but
the
I never
point-
knew
at
we'd
the
carry
point that it comes to
Wisconsin.
take up arms, yeah, no, I actually believe that it makes sense for everyone to have guns. Right now, we're in peacetime. We're not in that level of conflict. With the state
I
and
would say the
people.
opposite. I would say that we're not in peace times. I would say that we
Okay.
are directly right before something fractures. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, it looks like I
I'm with
agree with
you.
Yeah,
Pumpkin.
people have been
It's
thinking that since
gonna
like the
fracture
90s.
soon. It can't hold
Yeah,
up
you know why they've
forever.
been thinking it since the 90s? Because it
it's
has
not true.
increasingly become worse since the
It's
90s.
90s.
Or
That
because it's-
sentiment
It
has
takes 30 it
Or
takes
because you're
30 years.
gullible and it's profitable for
Yes,
right wingers to
I'm
market
for sure
propaganda that
gullible,
this is
yes.
right around the
Oh,
corner, so make sure you buy their prepper buckets.
I don't buy
I mean,
prepper buckets,
He
sir. I
does
make
have a
my
point
own.
there, Bumpkin. He does have a point, but
I don't
that's-
buy prepper buckets, sir. I make my own.
Now there are metrics again. So another question based off this: there are metrics that we can follow throughout human history that say it takes anywhere from 30 to 60 years for a revolution to pop off. The American Revolution was not done in a 10-year period. It was like 30 years with things like the Boston Massacre happening. So again, to the panel, since we are on the topic, how much has it increased in your lifetime that things are about to fall apart?
Revolution or Civil War?
Not at all.
So
These are very
either
different.
Can I
or.
explain
No, it's
why?
not an either or. These are very different prescripts.
Yeah.
The
But by the
Civil
way,
War typically takes
that's not-
place
he's
when the
not-
fighting age men don't have jobs. When you have enough fighting age men sitting around without jobs, you end up having things pop off.
No, it takes a lot more than that.
The
First of all,
revolution
you
is a
need
little different. The revolution takes place when you have a discognizance between the extent and the reality, right? The people who are ruling don't agree with the people who are living.
I
Well,
think we're going
as the
to
moderator, I
revolution.
would say that right now in our country, we are pretty much at both.
Which is
So
Either
again,
I would
a
say
massive
revolution is where
oversimplification
we're
by
going.
Caucasian there.
Not civil
To be
war.
clear, if we were to have a civil war where it's one faction fighting against another, I don't think that we necessarily need that. It would be good to have a revolution where the people fight against the state, or as Karl Marx put it, the workers fight the bourgeoisie. But my thing with this is that we're starting to come into an impending ecological crisis, and if you actually look at how
Hold on, Melanie. I got a new panelist. Welcome to the panel, Old School Joe Cool. How are you doing?
What's good, guys?
I'm not going to go back and repeat the question because we've kind of deviated from the first
can I wrap
question.
up what I
I'm
was
gonna let
saying
Melanie-
super quick
Yeah,
on that?
I'm going to let Melanie go, and then Joe, we can get your opinion.
Regarding
Well, I need to
how
listen
close we
for a
are to
little
the
while. I just saw you and hopped up, so I'll be listening for a little while.
Okay.
All right.
Regarding how close we are to the precipice of a revolution, I don't think people I think people are more complacent than ever. You can look at this based on the fact that we're on an impending ecological crisis and people are doing very little to fuck all about it.
Yeah.
Right
So,
now, maybe.
I just want to need to lay down the ground rules for people that have not been here before. I know I'm also debating, but is my show. People that jump up on the panel, if you stay to the end and you are not kicked off or have a 1v1 that's paid for and then you lose the 1v1 and get booted off, and if you're revived, there is a cash prize at the end. We basically get this panel all the way down to 4 people, and then there is a vote who wins out of those 4 people at the end
What's
of the
the
night.
topic,
And
if I
decides.
can ask? What's the topic?
Fuck.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
You're fine.
The first topic is should the U.S. military root out the cartels in Mexico and South America, and then we moved on. We deviated from that to the Second Amendment and what it means, and I proposed several questions based off that. Melanie being a communist / post-communist, I asked him his opinion on Karl Marx, and this is for the panel as well. I asked his opinion on Karl Marx thought on arms and munitions, in which Karl Marx stated, in order for, basically, don't give up your guns. The workers should never give up their guns and munitions. If you do, it should be frustrated with force if necessary, and that's where we're at.
With the context being in times of revolution.
No, there was no
Yeah.
context of being in times of revolution.
Yeah, it actually.
He outright said the proletariat should never relinquish arms and munition to the bourgeoisie.
Marx being a
I
revolutionary was
agree with that.
making
Don't give your guns to the government.
Marx
I
being a
totally agree with
revolutionary was making claims pertinent to the revolution, not to.
Well, it's also within the Communist Manifesto, and I know we both read that. And I'm not debating. This is from the desk of the moderator. He specifically said in the
The desk
Communist
of the
Manifesto to never relinquish your arms to the state or the bourgeoisie because it will end terribly for the workers.
So
All right,
I think
first I'm going to bring you back. I'm going to bring you back up since you were not paid to be kicked down and you left willingly. Remember,
little
there are
bitch.
there are TOS things that we cannot say, and this is a blood sport, so y'all feel free to yell, scream, talk over each other. If it gets too out of hand, I will bring it back down so that we can at least have a debate. Welcome back, Cursed.
Curse, did you have a good cry?
Hillary's ass.
Don't entice.
That's a yes.
Please.
I take that as a yes.
Don't entice.
Don't entice blood sports, James. Do you realize where you are right now?
I don't know it's blood
JLT.
sports, but you're going for
JLT.
a person, not the idea.
Well, that's kind of the point of blood sports,
JLT,
James.
JLT, I was politely asked not to swing my blade in your direction, so I will not.
By whom?
By a mutual individual that we both know, so let's just keep it at that.
Aw,
Okay.
that's really cute. You all need
I
to
don't.
protect.
I mean, if you want to,
Yeah,
you want to
well-
go after me, go for it.
I have no reason to. This is why I don't want to. But yeah, I do apologize. Like I said at the beginning, I'm way too deep in these trenches. I know a lot about subjects people don't want to talk about. And on my channel called The Ghost Ship, you kind of have to break POS without nudity to remain, but that's my show, not your show.
What
Bucket.
the hell are you even talking about, bro? You cannot talk here
Explaining the
because
fact that Mrs. Doubtfire is to Robin Williams as Tim Osmond is to
Or just the fact that you often can't talk about these things without providing medical information to get to your conclusion.
There is no medical information to prove what I'm stating because it's not a medical subject, Mel.
Isn't it?
No, war is not actually a medical subject on the reason why it's sparked, Mel.
Okay.
And by the way,
right.
I think we sometimes get confused.
I got a better idea.
Some
Hey,
things are
Orthodox.
POS and some things are demonetizing, right? Like, so when they have to put up the context banner underneath your video because YouTube doesn't think you're doing a good enough job, then usually that demonetizes you as well. That's not a. That's not
Yeah. The views of the panelists can be very well traced back to the documents that are provided everywhere on the internet to ensure that this is actual legitimate things, just like I did with the Amerigo. I went right to my two ducks that go, and I brought back information about the Amerigo that they're going to unite Canada, America, and Mexico all into one giant country. I don't debate I don't debate null topics. I debate things that can be proven or disproven.
Do you ever wonder if the things you believe just like run damage control for the
I don't
state
do
sometimes?
belief. I don't do belief, as well as to answer your question directly. What about the conspiracy theory where conspiracy theorists were actually put out to market conspiracy theory as a conspiracy theory? Were you able to keep up? I'm sure you did.
No, because you used conspiracy theory as too many nouns.
were you talking about Trump giving his friends information on the markets? Is that the conspiracy theory?
Yes, like insider trading.
No, I'm basically saying the extraplanetaries are actually humans, and they don't want to discuss that because there was proof with a so-called UFO that was piloted by a human being with a nuclear reactor that caused something over New Mexico or something like for a widespread area.
And as proof, you say what?
Exactly what I just stated.
You said that was proof. I'm asking you, what proof are you referring to?
So
the ability for you to actually do research. This is the problem with individuals that they don't research things. They just spew nonsense and opinions without looking at paperwork, which is why I don't have debate where things cannot be refuted.
It's very easy
Okay.
to figure out, by the way, what they did at Area 51. It was underground nuclear testing of various
Why don't
technologies.
you talk
to try
about
to
Dolce
get ahead of the
Vapes? Why don't you
Soviets,
just
who were
talk about
also
Dolce
developing
Vapes?
that technology in secret at the time. The use of
Yeah,
aliens as a
talk
cover
about
was a
Dolce
good
Vapes.
way to deflect from the fact that they were doing that kind of testing there and
You mean the
generating
moon
public
land?
hype about it. And with gullible people like you, was a perfect was a great way to get people not talking about how they're probably doing research there for the Soviets. That way, if
Okay,
there were
so
spies
basically
in
you proved my
America, they
conspiracy
wouldn't
theory
think to
thought.
look at Area 51.
You proved my conspiracy theorist thought about conspiracy theories more or less being fed
That
to
they're made up.
conspiracy
That they're made up
theorists.
for gullible people
Exactly.
like you.
Exactly. They proved it with the extraplanetaries by telling us about them in 2020.
I don't
Whenever
think he gets what I'm saying at all. I think
I don't think you
I
understand.
think he's
We
hearing
don't
what he
understand
wants to
each
hear,
other,
which is
so I don't know
probably
why we're
also what
talking to
what
each other. We
happens
don't
when he
understand
looks
each
at
other, so I
said
don't know why we're talking
documents.
to each other.
You're not talking to each other. You're talking over each other.
Well, I
You're
literally
yelling
said
at
something
each
and he
other.
said something else that was
To be
unrelated.
So,
more
so let's
specific.
actually get into something authentic
Seems like
that
this person's
that can
yelling
be
more.
go either way. So, Orthodox guy.
Moderator.
Yeah, I'm the mod. What's up?
Mod check.
What are we talking about right now?
No
I have
fucking
no
idea.
idea.
I think Bob Lazar and
Oh,
Area
we're about to
51
go to
shit.
Isaiah 11:6. That's what I'm
All
looking
right.
Peace.
Okay, go
Oh, the
ahead.
Bible. Okay.
at. Well, yeah, I'm putting Isaiah 11:6 on the table. Can
Don't
somebody
check Telegram, by the way. You can read it.
Yeah, I love how he said that we're going to go to something like, I forget what he said now, but more like reasonable or rational or something, and then it's this. Or
Oh
authentic.
yes,
He said-
so I can
he said
just prove the
authentic.
point that everybody's touching a different piece of the elephant. If you haven't heard that analogy before or allegory,
We've heard it.
Are you
You
just
was going to say something
the other
about
saying?
Isaiah to prove a point. That's all. That's
Yeah,
what you wanted to say.
11:6.
yeah, Isaiah 11:6. I'm just going to paraphrase. Everybody remembers back in the 90s whenever there was many what sermons about it where
What?
the lion laid down with the lamb.
You
Now,
said
if you go look
Isaiah.
at Isaiah 6, Isaiah 11:6, you notice that it's the wolf laying down with the lamb.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so we're going to argue Mandela effect now. Is this the proof that you're putting forward? Or something?
Isaiah 11:6 describes a peaceful scene where I'm reading this from AI. Just disclaimer.
Yep.
Where a wolf will live with a lamb, a leopard will lie with a goat, a calf and a young lion will lie together, and a little child will lead them. This passage is part of Isaiah's prophecy about a future leader from the line of David who will bring true equality and justice to all people, including the poor and powerless. Some interpret this passage literally believing that in the Messiah's kingdom, the very nature of animals will be changed, eliminating any danger from former prey, from former predators. Others see it as a metaphor for a fundamental change in human governance, culture, and ending conflict between tribes.
Orthodox guy, I think most of that's irrelevant. No disrespect.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
his
No, no,
point is, hold on, let
All
me
of that
finish.
data,
I
not
think
knowledge.
his point is that for all these years, we thought it said the lion shall lie down with the lamb. And then suddenly it now says wolf shall lie down with the lamb. I
No,
think
the
that is
lion
all
lying
he's
down with the
concerned
lamb
about.
came from something else, Joe. That the
And-
passage
and-
is
and jumping
literally
on
meant
top of
to.
that
Okay, no,
is just
poetic
the point,
poetry,
is it
folks.
God's
Folks,
word if it can
okay,
be
let's have some
changed?
literacy for a moment.
Yeah,
Okay, folks?
she was literally talking, bro. You just jumped all over her.
So this is poetry, right? You generate one metaphor. This is the pristine ought to be metaphor, or in that case, I guess the lion laying down with the lamb is like you wouldn't expect that, right? So you're saying that there's something that's oppositional to what we consider nature to be, the predator with the prey.
Incorrect.
I understand.
And then with the
Incorrect.
wolf, the wolf, all that
This
is
is not
that
what I'm stating.
all that is like in metaphors. There's multiple ways to give the same metaphor, right? A wolf is a predator, the same as a lion. So they're
I
both.
understand.
This is not what I'm stating.
Okay, you go ahead and rephrase your shit if Melanie's done.
No, I'm actually. By the way, Cursier, I'm saying on your part, like that's not what it's saying.
Don't say what I'm saying. These are your words,
That it's
not
not
mine.
the Mandela effect. Yeah, but I'm agreeing with you that it's not about the Mandela effect because I'm pretty sure "Lion and the Lamb" came from an earlier
about the
passage.
proof and the fact that reality is consistently changing after 2012. We're in
Told you.
Mandela.
What the fuck does this have to do
What
with
is about
South
Mandela?
America?
Told you.
Joe was right. I take the L there. Joe got it.
I don't know what it's got. How we got to here.
What about South
cartel,
America?
because it's about
Okay,
the
so anyways,
cartel,
going
and now we
back
got
to
here.
going back to like war
Oh,
and
the
stuff
point
like
that
that.
politicians are sponsors.
Going back to war and stuff like
No
that, like,
shit.
America is clearly paranoid of like Russian spies and stuff like that. And so I think it's funny that America wants to have like a military presence in other countries, given that it doesn't like having that done to itself historically.
I don't care about hypocrisy. I do not care. America is better.
But better, like, again, that doesn't make an ought statement. That means you ought not to do that, but
I
you're going to do
despise
it
that word.
anyways.
I do not care. I do not care. Yeah, we can be
Monkeys
hypocrites.
don't
nobody
care.
cares.
Okay.
Nobody cares about ought.
now.
So,
Yeah,
so
I-
do you
How we
do you
audit
believe,
you.
do you believe that
I believe
if you do
nothing.
something wrong, that you should be punished for it? Justice, basic justice.
Yes.
Incorrect. Stupid
Within
people.
Do
the
you
United
believe-
States of America?
The calling is
Bumpkin?
coming.
Do you believe if you break a law, you should be punished as well?
Yes, within the United States.
Breaking
of
man's
America.
law means
Right,
Yeah, we
within
break
the
any
United
law, we should
States
be
of
punished,
America.
of course.
Is that true? Like I see the police go inside of people's pockets all the time, and they're not supposed to unless they're under arrest. Should we be arresting every cop that does that?
You're talking about stop and
Yes.
frisk?
Stop and frisk. Every time they stop a motherfucker, it's not literally called stop and frisk anymore, but they say you got ID and they go straight in people's pockets. And then they lie to them and tell them you must ID. You could argue that that's a violation of Title 18, Section 241, 242 that says you shall not conspire with anyone or separately if you're under the color of law to deprive a person of their rights. And a person has the right to the Fourth Amendment is anonymity.
Wasn't that
One
book
second,
thrown out?
one
Wasn't that
second.
book thrown out?
1 second. Welcome to the panel, Skeet. Welcome.
Hello, sir.
Welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
And definitely
Good evening.
Good evening. Skeet
Evening.
is, last time I checked, a very intelligent philosophy bro. So here we go.
You're in the wrong
What's the
room
current
because so
topic of
far we're
conversation?
talking about a bunch of nonsense. You're in the wrong room. Mandela effect and some weird shit. And he got mad at
Existence
me
is futile, sir.
when he talked about Area 51. He got mad when I told him to prove
Area
something.
51. You said something about a faggot. What'd you say?
I told him to prove it. He said something happened at Area 51. They've proven
I didn't
that
say
they had.
anything
They've
directly about
proven
Area
that there have
51.
been
They'll
no.
brought it up.
They've proven
I
that
told
there
him
have
to
been
talk about
aliens,
military
ships. You could talk after me and correct me. They've proven that there have been aliens driving ships with some type of gravity wells or something. They've proven it. And I asked him, what do you mean he proved it? And he got mad and told me, nigga, learn to research and Google shit.
What that's fallen angels? Not really
Yeah, I
aliens.
mean,
they're
I'd
driving
imagine if you
stuff.
if you knew about the spaceships, you would be able to
Extra
give something
dimensional
for that.
creatures.
Yeah, don't ask
So,
him for proof.
So what,
those
so what
things-
are we really talking about? I heard somebody mention cartel, stop and frisk.
If that's even true.
Yeah, well,
Are we
Bumpkin
talking about the
was.
southern border?
I was trying to drill in on Bumpkin was saying stuff like he doesn't care and America is better and this and that. And I wanted to see if there's a hypocrisy there because I'm assuming that Americans, he think all Americans should follow the law, but I'm sure he
No,
has
America.
certain people who he thinks should be able to get away with the law. Like, you know, like I'm assuming Trump or police officers. So I was going to go there first.
America has a front row seat to the stage. Of
I'm sorry. Do you think because I'm a CEO that I like cops or something, Joe Cool? I fucking hate cops. Cops are the biggest.
I
TV is
figured
the biggest-
because you was racist, you wouldn't
Cops are
mind
the
them.
army put against us,
I
bro.
wouldn't. I
Cops
didn't
are
think you'd mind them
legitimately the
fucking
army.
with minorities. Is where I was going.
Hey,
Shit,
I'm
I
not.
mean,
I'm not. I can't
I'm
say
racist
that.
too.
Look, from the
Yeah, I
desk-
know you are, Ski.
I'm not racist.
Just
I
as a
hate all human
moderator, I have to say, just because one is racist does not mean we like the cops because they're the ones who are being racist.
Police
They're the
officers
ones
are the
who
army put
us
against
To be
us, and
fair,
I hate
even
all
when I
humans.
do
So
approach,
how
the
am I
fucking-
racist?
even
If,
when I do approach the cop situation, like in conversation, most of the problems that have to do with police don't really have to do with race. They have to do with shitty police unions. They got to do with lack of federal oversight committees. Police get away with fucking lots of shit that's just from corruption in their own courts.
We would agree with that, but most hardcore racists be like, "Well, fuck it, if as long as they're fucking with a certain group of
No,
people."
no. We're hardcore racists. Those are casual racists that like.
The hardcore racist has thought critically about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
only the
yeah,
cool
yeah.
people say
they're
the
the ones
quiet
who
part out
stop us-
loud.
They're the ones who stop us from
What the
being
fuck,
racist.
dude? You've got a
I'd
little
rather
fucking-
do what's right instead of doing what's cool, Mel.
Why
Yeah.
does this person have a little Fox AVI that talks?
Because
What the
I'm the
fuck?
Furby. Have you never heard of the Furby before?
Yeah, I've heard of the Furby. I remember 2013, all the little Furby,
Exactly.
Furb.
Exactly.
Kick
Yeah.
the
Okay.
Furby.
Well,
Oh, that
So
was
I just
maybe.
wanted to
My
say to
bad.
Bumpkin, by the way, like most most like philosophical doctrines on war say like you must resort all peaceful actions first. Do you agree that like America should use up all peaceful options?
That is
it
said
can?
by people without the biggest stick. I do not care.
Okay, so you're basically a
Very thought
warmonger
of
then.
peace
So you're
above
just a
war.
feckless warmonger who has no idea how war
I am
actually
not a
works in the
feckless
real world.
warmonger.
So you
I'm
like
not a
calling
feckless
people names in a
warmonger.
debate, don't
They
you?
send
That's definitely
fentanyl
what you are.
and they kidnap people and they human traffic across the southern
That's
border. We have
100% what you
ample.
are, dude.
We
Are we
have
talking about the
ample.
Americans?
We're talking about.
You
the
just want to feel
cartels.
strong so that way you can feel better about your
No,
small dick.
we
It's
have
very
am-
obvious.
We have
Well,
just
we
wanna
need our
feel better
about
government
your
to
small
shut our
dick,
buddy.
border.
It's
So
so
these
I have a
people
small
can't
dick.
get over.
You
We need to
personally
fix our
castrated
border.
yourself.
Our fault that
No, I
you
still have my
chemically-
dick. And
You're
it's
a
bigger
You
than
fucking
yours.
chemically castrated
I
yourself.
still have my dick, and
You
it's bigger than
chemically
yours, buddy.
castrated yourself. You
It's not
chemically
our
castrated
fault that
yourself.
you
Your
do
dick
it.
is
Are
not
you
going to
a
be
real
popular
I
Can we
get
not
in
it.
like
talk
3
about
years.
All right,
In
look,
3
look,
years,
look,
all right?
everybody, stop waving their dicks in the air like a bunch of monkeys. All
That's
right,
just weird.
True.
all right, calm down.
Funny enough, the tranny's one that waved the dick first. That's funny. Just saying.
No, actually, I
Do y'all
I
realize
approve
this is
having
all a
small dick.
psyop to depopulate you? And the easiest way to manipulate someone to do something that you want them to do is to make it think that it's their idea.
Good
You
thing
just
being
fallen
trans isn't
into the trap.
genetic. That would have to be genetic
Everybody
to work,
is
you fucking
falling
idiot.
into the trap, go.
Well, being trans would have
You
to be
just don't
genetic
get
for that
it,
to
bro.
work, so you're
You
an
really
idiot.
just don't get it, bro.
The fucking
Everybody's
X
falling
Files,
into the
Genetics
trap
on
of
things that exist in the
depopulation.
head.
Need more X-File.
Do you even realize that there's fluoride and Teflon in your bloodstream
You realize
right
that
now?
fluoride keeps your teeth healthy and that it doesn't actually negatively impact your health because it's not in high enough concentrations to do that, and you know nothing about
Oh,
biochemistry.
sure, but a little bit of something won't hurt you. Oh, how about none of it? How about none of it in anything, bro? Why is a little bit fucking
When you can
okay?
come up with a
That's the
magical
whole point
water
I'm putting
system that
down.
has
You
when
are
can come up with a
docile.
magical water
You are
system that has none of
docile.
those things,
Makes me feel old.
and
thinking
you
about
have no
X-Files.
idea
Yeah,
why
come
they
on,
even
dude,
added
like-
it in the first place. You're just mad that it's there.
Who's the one playing X Files?
I think that may or may not be the moderator.
No,
Yeah,
that's
probably
just
not
their-
one of
that's
the
just-
people who
that
don't
is-
own the panel.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
I thought I was supposed to moderate. You're the one pressing all the buttons and shit behind the screen.
Shut
Crazy.
up!
Yeah, you're
That's
sabotaging
not-
your own debate panel, dude.
I would never do
I
that.
need to learn how to play that on piano.
Bait.
That would be
Yeah,
awesome. You should do that.
You can play piano.
I'm learning. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't want to say I play it, but I'm learning.
Okay. I just want to remind chat and everyone now that we have a calm down moment a little bit here. I'm gonna read
What the
these
fuck
off.
did you just say,
$1.
Pumpkin? What the fuck? You said it's calm? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. $1
Talk about
1 minute
okay,
for
babe.
removals for a $5 minimum. $20 for a 1v1. That's where you pick two people on everyone on here. Yeah. That's on the panel right now to have a 1v1 over whatever topic you want, or if it's a current topic, then whoever loses that debate via a chat vote gets removed for the night. And then it's $50 for a
King of
permanent.
the Hill. It's a King of the Hill.
Yeah, $50 for a permanent removal. I might drop that down to $30 for tonight, and $2 name changes, $3 for a 5-minute mute, and it's a $20 revival.
All right, let's pick some topics here. Y'all had a couple good ones. I think one had something to do with Civil War, and I forgot what the other one was.
Well, Orthodox has a list of topics.
Well, let's try and stick to some of
What's
those,
the
man.
number
Because
12 on that list, Orthodox?
All right, I got you. What is the solution to get Americans trained into jobs limiting foreign employment?
I just heard empowered a slave class.
I didn't hear the
Oh my
last part of
fucking
the
god!
of the
Let's not do
question.
the whole empowering these slaves.
Did you say something about foreign employment? Employment? I
Yeah.
didn't hear
To limit foreign employment.
to
Yeah,
limit
so basically
foreign
DEI.
employment.
It's an
Okay.
anti-DEI thing. So
Well-
if you really want to do that, you want more American workers to be specialized in the labor force, and you want them to have higher quality education with more degrees under their belt. So basically, you want to improve the education system, give education for all Americans, even post-secondary for free, and you'll see that increases in that they're more competitive with labor from abroad.
What?
India, where they often do come with degrees and stuff like that.
We'd also have to stop
No.
white people being so fucking racist with that mob mentality, because when there are a bunch of people, I feel more comfortable with the white guy who looks like me and listens to my type of music, and they're going to hire them. In a sense, the white people are the majority. We're going to have to do something about their racist tendencies.
Well, we don't even have to give schooling away for free. What we need to do is incentivize people to have actual motivation by giving them something to be motivated to go to school for.
Teenagers,
But the thing is, people don't have no reason to go to school and to grow as a person because they don't have the proper incentive.
So the
Like,
biggest problem.
Wait, James, from the moderator, question for you. Since Mel said make it free and you said don't, wouldn't you think that a motivation for post-secondary education would be not being in debt after you get out of it? Because even if you don't go for something like underwater basket weaving and you go for something like engineering or even medical school, the cost of that is outrageous. So what would you do to incentivize it fiscally?
well, I would incentivize it like to give people a reason to go to school, like by reinforcing the idea people should have families and try to have a family, because
So you didn't mean
I think
financially.
that would be a big incentive for people to go to school.
Wait,
is
you
if
didn't
they
mean
are able to have families.
financially.
Ensure
You meant
individuals are more
mentally.
docile.
Because I think a lot of people want to have families, and that's the
Yeah,
reason
and they don't want to be in debt while they
They
have
don't
that
have the
family.
motivation to go to school.
And James, they don't want to be in debt
Yeah, a
while
lot
they
of
have that
people want
family.
to
Also,
live
we're
the
talking
American
about
dream.
motivating. Sorry, Pumpkin, but I just got to point this out. We're talking about motivating teens, right? And what those teens now know, because it's just a common fact of life, is that you're going to be in debt if you go to post-secondary. Now, teens aren't thinking that far ahead, but they know that being in debt later on in life sucks, and it doesn't take much more for them than to be demotivated by that fact alone.
And we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars too. $50,000 for someone just got out of college.
A great portion of your life being in debt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And then also a fact about that, James, to pile on. Not only do you have to pay 50, like to 100,000, depending on what you're specializing in, you also get manipulated while you're going to school. That debt is compound interest, so you can wind up making the base payment or even paying more and still wind up owing 50,000 in 10 years.
And that's the hilarious part. I actually went to college the first week they gave us the finals. I walked right into the financial advisor's office and said, why do I have to pay nearly $30,000 if I just aced all the finals? I don't require your paperwork, and I'm not giving you my money.
Yeah, but you don't even really have to get like super high education in order to get a decent wage, though, and at a job.
And that's part of the dream, bro. That's just part of the American dream. You have to be asleep to realize it, bro. That's simply what that comes to.
But I mean, and
you know what?
but you don't have to
Actually, new question from the moderator based on Sasquatch. Trade school is underrated. I personally, I like the idea of getting more Americans in trade. I like the German system where they prioritize specialized higher education for the people that are capable, and then for everyone else, they push trade schools. In America, right now, going to trade school costs only marginally less.
And you can make money while you do it. And by the way, we can do it even better. Here in Ontario, we actually have a great program called OYAP. It actually kind of needs to be updated because it's getting a bit old. But basically, it will fund your schooling and all the educations that the employer would need to normally pay for to make you an apprentice. And then because of that, it's not only like you don't have debt, but you make money during the time that you're actually learning.
Well, there's a lot of police out there.
This subject that yes, everybody needs a personal craft that they actually adore in order to grind it constantly. So
no, it's not about that, Curse. It's about having skills that you can actually that are marketable in the job market, right? Like
everybody requires a craft that they adore so they can grind at it.
Oh,
That's
what
talking
the fuck?
So my argument for how we can improve this, by the
Yes,
way,
yes,
is we
Wait a
can
minute.
diversify. We
Pumpkin?
can diversify the things that are available under apprenticeship. Like applied chemistry isn't available under apprenticeship, but I think you actually could learn applied chemistry.
I throw it back to
through an
that whole
apprenticeship.
free thing. You can't even make things free technically because people won't appreciate it if it's free. People don't really take care
Joe-
and
Until the end of
Cool.
currency.
Wait,
this is-
honestly
Joe Cool,
appreciate
Joe
stuff
Cool. I
that they
think
don't
you have a
learn.
question.
Until
from
the end of
chat.
currency, this is war.
So I guess we should put kids in debt over elementary school
Wait,
too.
I think Joe Cool has a question from chat. This person, I'm gonna make this not as racist, but this person is basically asking, with the statistics that we have, black folks are more likely to commit violent crime and theft, and they want to know which is more relevant to the safety and functioning of society, keeping that from happening, or not being racist in the workforce.
Well, this is really silly. Motherfucker just mad in chat. Hold on, let me look. So man, Tyrell, somebody, you're just fucking mad. Because one ain't necessarily got to do something with the other. I'm talking about putting people, which was a topic, in jobs. If you want to include all people, it's a real thing that people have that group mentality and they want the motherfucker who looks like them in a job. Countless, endless studies, even to this day, are showing that. You'd have to come up with something like, I don't know, critical race theory and put it in schools where you teach motherfuckers that everybody's equal and that historically and even and now the residual effects fuck over certain people. You probably have to come up with something that put other people in jobs like DEI shit.
No, Joe, them fighting words. Them are fighting words.
That says that other people are
Joe Cool know
available.
what he's talking about.
Let's-
Joe
So,
Cool
so
knows.
you're Mel, you're for taking somebody who is highly skilled in their position, removing them from the position,
not what
and
DI
putting
does.
three
Is
other
that what
people
that is?
in
That's not
that
what DI
position
does.
that know nothing about that
This
position.
is what it
That's
is,
not
Mel.
what DI
I'm gonna
does.
tell you right now what it is. With
That's
Mel.
what it
I
boils
love
down to.
Mel.
That's what it
I
matters.
think the Furby is an addition we all need. But let's be real, Mel. Let's be real, Mel. Right, Mel. You
Yes?
are a side effect of white progress.
No, okay, that has nothing to do with the fucking question.
Oh, what do you
That's
mean?
not what DEI
What do you
does.
mean?
That's not what
into the
DEI does.
workforce.
That's not
It's
what
not
DEI
pick
does,
on
by the
Mel
way.
time.
DEI.
No.
DEI says-
Are white
DEI
people-
is because of Furby.
Are white people
reclaim
more
my
No,
time.
susceptible
I
to
this is
reclaim
guys.
my
I'm
time.
being
I
analytical,
reclaim
guys.
my time.
Guys. I'm being analytical, guys. I'm being
That's not
analytical.
what
you are.
DEI
I
does,
think you
bro,
are.
by the way.
DEI wouldn't
So
exist
DEI looks
if
at two
Furby wasn't on
pools of
YouTube every day.
possible candidates that are equally qualified, and it says which of those equally qualified candidates can we
I agree.
hire to overcome hiring discrimination.
I agree, Furby, and thank you for fucking up girls in sports so that could be a thing. I love you,
That's
Furby.
a totally
know
different
DEI
argument.
was
You can
about-
argue that with me one v
I got a
one.
real
You
one
can
here.
man
I
up
got a
and
real
challenge
one
me to
here.
a 1v1 debate.
Why is it
Guys are real
that
tranny
the
over here.
WNBA
Keep in mind, $20 via Cash App. You can have a 1v1 debate with anyone on the panel besides the moderator, of course.
Yeah, they have to pay more for the moderator, right?
Yes, sir,
Um,
Mr. Buck.
They don't have to pay more
It's
for the
because
moderator.
I would
Dude,
win.
I can't have a 1v1 debate with Furby because Furby's just gonna say I'm Muslim and I abuse women, right? I lose, and I'm not even Muslim. I'm just Brad. Like these are this is the process of American culture. We need to digress.
I didn't even have
right,
an easy out.
Furby. Like we got to
This
digress
had
this,
to be
Furby. You know what I mean?
PG.
Like we got to digress this, Furby. You know, we got to digress.
And you're just gonna keep saying I'm trans and I'm too delusional to have a valid opinion.
No. What I'm saying is you were assigned.
Cool. Very cool.
Perfect timing,
Tell the
right?
full story, bro. Tell it again.
Perfect.
This
He's probably
is crazy.
still going. He doesn't even know his mic's cut.
He's
I know, he
actually-
didn't get his mic cut. He peaked his mic out by yelling.
Yeah, so
I did cut him down because he was at 200%, and my ears were hurting.
I
So
have
where
like a
were we at,
$120
DEI?
mic, and I've screamed at the top of my lungs this thing, and never does that to me. Like Audio Technica is such a good brand.
also you guys are right. You have to do other incentives. I guess I'm just poking you motherfuckers a bit with the DEI, but you obviously have a blind spot there because what I'm saying is true. But yes,
No. You are from the moderator. Factually speaking, people are tribal. There's been studies done. People do want people who look like them. That's kind of the whole point in American DEI. So I mean,
All right.
Okay, so I just want to point something out, by the way. Like, we've done studies on this, and it's not as like black and white, not in the racial sense, but in the abstract sense.
Clear cut, yeah.
Like you can be easily trained to see somebody from a different country as somebody who's also like you. Because what we've shown is that, like, if you put a baseball cap on somebody who you would otherwise see as an out group, and that baseball cap supports the same sports team that you like, then you're more likely to see them as an in group.
Right. So it seems like you use some of this MK Ultra shit to detrain motherfuckers to get out of that group thinking, that group mentality shit. And is to see all other races and colors possibly as your brother. Right now, I'd even say that there's such a fervor now that every fucking skinhead racist feels like comfortable to come out the closet. Every old grandmama feel like they can say, go back to your country. We're going in reverse right now. Any DEI shit, if someone thought it was a good idea, some motherfuckers racists rephrased it and reframed it and said that good people are losing their jobs so they can put black people that don't know what they're doing in there. You do some civil rights shit, which probably was not a great idea to begin with. The shit in the schools is someone is gonna relabel it as the most evil shit in the world and knock it down.
All right, 1 second. Welcome to the panel, Speakeasy. Thank you for coming.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
This should be a perfect addition. Yeah.
Welcome
to I was just listening in there real quick, and
welcome to Walmart version.
Walmart version.
that Laura Lynn brand.
Where everything's cheaper, yeah.
Nice. No, I was just listening to the Fox over here, and I just had a question based off your statement. Like, you said that, like, you can definitely, and I agree with your statement, like, you can be trained to see people in other countries as similar to your self. I'm assuming you mean like culture wise, right?
Sure. And it wasn't to say like trained.
Would they make it so though?
Sorry, no, I wasn't necessarily saying trained. I'm saying like these things aren't as like concrete in our brain as we think. Like you can easily unlearn some sort of racial prejudice you have or something just by finding something else that you relate to.
You know what, Mel? Go eat some mushrooms.
No, what I'm asking though is like if you can like see them as an in group, like if we look at like an Islamic country and we somehow like train ourselves or whatever to see them as an in group, does that make them an in group, or is that just us tricking ourselves?
There is no trick.
I think that depends on how compatible your values can be.
Well, is Islam compatible with America?
Well, if you look at like Christian fundamentalists and Islamic fundamentalists, they actually have a lot of the same overlapping values.
If you look at every Muslim,
the difference between the Jewish, the Christians, and the Muslims is that one doesn't have a prophet, one has Yahshua, and then there is a second prophet after it.
You know, there are Muslims in America run around on these panels. They're normal people who fit in, and you wouldn't even know they were Muslim unless you asked them.
I don't know.
So we know.
Well, like what I'm asking though, like what I'm asking though is just because like there can be a trick pulled across over my eyes that like a Muslim has the same worldview as me, does that make it so? Does that make it true?
Again,
there is a question from the moderator.
Like I feel like your framing is limited because this would depend on the compatibility of the values of those people. So since not all people from Islamist countries are Islamic fundamentalists, they may not be as compatible with a Christian fundamentalist from your country, but they may be more compatible with someone who's more secular.
It doesn't mean you'll have the same worldview, but me, you, and Furry probably don't have the same worldview.
Well, I do have
right. That's what I'm exactly what I'm trying to say though. Like if we can all trick each other that we have the same worldview, does it make it true?
That's not the objective. It's to trick people that they have the worldview. Is to get them to understand that that's my brother, regardless of what he thinks, what color he is, and all of that type of shit. You're untricking a motherfucker that's been tricked to think they're separate people.
What if y'all are playing the world's oldest telephone game with each other and you're